Hello, my friend. Today, I want to speak to the part of you that's tired of feeling small, tired of questioning your worth, tired of looking outside yourself for what's always been within. If you've ever doubted your value or let the noise of the world drown out your inner voice, this moment is for you. Self-love is not a luxury, it's a necessity. It's the foundation of every victory you'll ever claim, the root of every strength you'll ever show. Without it, we stumble, seeking fulfillment in places that can't sustain us. But with it, you become unstoppable. You become the kind of person who doesn't just survive life's battles, but thrives because of them. So I invite you to lean in, to open your heart, and to listen closely. Today, we're diving deep into the journey of self-love, a journey that begins with uncovering the treasure within and ends with living a life so whole, so radiant, that no one can dim your light. Discovering your inner treasure. Let me start with a truth that's simple but profound. You already have everything you need to feel whole. You know, most of us spend years looking for validation from the outside. We think if someone sees us as valuable, then maybe, just maybe, we'll believe it ourselves. But that's like searching for water in a desert when a well is already within you. The problem is, we don't recognize it. Life buries that well under doubts, criticism, and comparisons until we forget it ever existed. I want to tell you something. Self-worth isn't given, it's uncovered. There's a treasure inside you, but finding it takes a little courage. Why courage? Because the world's noise can drown out your inner voice. You hear things like you're not enough or you need to change to be loved. And after a while, those lies start to sound like the truth. But here's the good news. Your worth isn't something that changes with people's opinions. It's like a diamond buried in the earth. Dirt and pressure can cover it for years, but the diamond stays just as brilliant underneath. I remember a time when I felt like I wasn't enough. I kept thinking, if only I could prove myself more, maybe I'd feel good about who I am. But no matter how much I achieved or how many people approved of me, that feeling didn't last. It wasn't until I started digging into my own heart, past the layers of insecurity, that I began to see my worth wasn't tied to anything outside of me. Your worth is constant, not conditional. It doesn't depend on how you look, what you do, or who likes you. It's as steady as the sunrise, whether clouds cover it or not. And the first step to self-love is realizing that this worth, this treasure, is yours. No strings attached. The treasure of your self-worth has always been there, waiting for you to uncover it. The moment you believe it's real, you've already taken the first step toward a love that will never leave you. Nurturing the flame, building a foundation of genuine self-love. Self-love isn't a switch you flip. It's a flame you tend to, carefully and patiently. Once you recognize the treasure within you, the next step is to nurture it. And let me tell you, this is where most people struggle. It's not that they don't want to love themselves, they just don't know how to keep that love alive when the storms roll in. Think about a small flame. When you first light it, it's delicate. A gust of wind can snuff it out. But if you shield it, feed it, and give it time, it grows stronger. That's what self-love is like. At first, it feels shaky, especially if you've spent years listening to self-doubt. But with practice, it becomes steady, and eventually nothing can extinguish it. How do you nurture this flame? Start by paying attention to your inner dialogue. You know that voice, the one that's quick to judge and slow to forgive. You need to meet it with kindness. When you make a mistake, remind yourself that mistakes are part of being human. When you look in the mirror, choose to see someone worthy of care instead of picking apart every flaw. And don't underestimate the power of boundaries. Saying no when something doesn't feel right is one of the greatest acts of self-love. It shows that you respect yourself enough to protect your energy. You're not selfish for setting limits. You're simply recognizing that your well-being matters. I've seen this truth unfold in my own life. There was a time when I said yes to everything because I didn't want to disappoint anyone. I thought that if I made others happy, I'd finally feel good about myself. But instead, I ended up exhausted and resentful. It wasn't until I started setting boundaries that I realized self-love isn't just about saying nice things to yourself. It's about showing up for yourself in real, tangible ways. Self-love also grows when you celebrate your victories, no matter how small they seem. Did you get through a tough day? That's worth celebrating. Did you take a step toward a goal? Applaud yourself for it. These moments, when strung together, create a foundation of confidence that can't be easily shaken. The flame of self-love needs your care and attention, but as you nurture it, you'll find it grows stronger with every act of kindness, respect, and celebration you give yourself. Soon, it will burn bright enough to light your path, no matter how dark the road ahead may seem. Radiating light, the magnetic energy of true confidence. When you start to love yourself, something extraordinary happens. You begin to shine in a way that's impossible to ignore. Have you ever met someone who just seems to glow? Not because of how they look or what they have, but because they carry themselves with a quiet, unshakable confidence. That kind of presence doesn't come from luck or talent, it comes from the inside out. It's the natural result of self-love. And let me tell you, it's magnetic. When you truly value yourself, you stop seeking approval from others. You no longer need validation because you've already given it to yourself. And here's the beautiful part. This kind of confidence is contagious. People are drawn to it because it's rare. It's a reminder of something they long for in their own lives. This magnetic energy isn't loud or boastful. It doesn't demand attention. Instead, it's calm, steady, and real. It's the way you walk into a room without needing to prove anything. It's the way you speak with honesty and kindness, unafraid of judgment. When you radiate self-love, you give others permission to do the same. But let me warn you, this light you carry will also reveal shadows. Not everyone will celebrate your confidence. Some people might feel intimidated because your self-assurance reminds them of their insecurities. It's not your job to dim your light for their comfort. Your responsibility is to keep shining, not to make yourself smaller for anyone else. Your light is a gift. It doesn't just make you stronger, it inspires others to see their own strength. Every time you stand tall, speak your truth, or chase your dreams, you're not just lighting your own path, you're illuminating the way for someone else. The light of self-love doesn't just transform you, it touches everyone around you. So let it shine boldly, knowing that your radiance is a reflection of something unbreakable within. How your self-love reveals others' insecurities. Your self-love can be a mirror, reflecting back to others the parts of themselves they've yet to embrace. As your confidence grows and your light begins to shine, you'll notice something unexpected. The way people respond to you changes. Some will admire you, uplifted by the example you've set, but others might seem uneasy, defensive, or even critical. Why? Because your self-love holds up a mirror to their insecurities. When you step into your worth, you challenge the narratives people carry about themselves. Maybe they've been taught that self-love is selfish, or that their value depends on what they accomplish. Seeing you thrive without those limits forces them to question what they believe about their own lives. And questioning is uncomfortable. But here's something important to understand. Their discomfort is not your burden to carry. It's a sign that your light is doing exactly what it's meant to do. Wake people up. Not everyone will be ready for that awakening, and that's okay. Some will resist because it's easier to criticize than to reflect. Others will feel inspired, but uncertain about where to begin. Remember this, the reactions of others are not a reflection of your worth. They're a reflection of their journey. You're not responsible for how people perceive your growth. Your only responsibility is to keep loving yourself and living authentically. And while some may feel threatened by your self-love, others will find it deeply inspiring. They'll see in you what they've been longing to see in themselves. Your courage to value yourself will plant seeds of possibility in their hearts. Some of those seeds will grow quickly, and others will take time. But either way, you'll have made a difference. You won't always see the impact you're having, but trust me, it's there. Every step you take toward becoming your best self sends out ripples that touch lives in ways you may never fully understand. Your self-love is a powerful mirror, and though not everyone will embrace what they see, it's a reminder that their own light is waiting to be discovered. Keep reflecting love no matter how it's received, because even the hardest hearts can be softened by the truth. Standing strong, navigating admiration and intimidation with grace. As your light grows, you'll face two kinds of responses: admiration that lifts you and intimidation that tries to challenge you. Walking the path of self-love is not always smooth. Some people will cheer you on, inspired by your strength, while others might try to pull you down. This isn't a reflection of your value, it's a reflection of theirs. How you navigate these responses will determine whether you continue to grow or let the weight of others hold you back. Let's talk about admiration first. It feels amazing when people see your growth and celebrate it. Their encouragement reminds you that you're on the right path. But even admiration has its challenges. Some might put you on a pedestal, expecting you to be perfect. That's a heavy burden to carry, and it's not yours to bear. True self-love means accepting yourself, flaws and all. You're not here to meet anyone's ideal. You're here to be authentically you. Then there's intimidation. When your confidence shines, it can make others feel small. Not because you're trying to, but because they're comparing their insecurities to your strength. This might show up as criticism, jealousy, or even outright hostility. In these moments, it's tempting to shrink yourself to avoid conflict. Don't. Shrinking won't make anyone feel better, and it will only dim your light. The key to navigating both admiration and intimidation is grace. Grace for yourself, so you don't feel pressured to meet expectations that don't align with who you are, and grace for others, so you don't let their insecurities harden your heart. Standing strong means knowing who you are and refusing to let outside forces shake that foundation. It means continuing to be kind, even when others aren't. It means acknowledging praise without letting it define you and facing criticism without letting it break you. Your strength will be tested, but remember this: every challenge you face is an opportunity to deepen your self-love. When you navigate these moments with grace, you prove to yourself and the world that your light isn't just bright, it's unstoppable. Standing strong in the face of both admiration and intimidation isn't about perfection, it's about staying true to yourself. When you do that, your light becomes a beacon of grace and courage for others to follow. The victory of unshakable self-worth. True victory isn't about conquering others. It's about living in harmony with yourself, fully and unapologetically. When you arrive at the place where self-love becomes unshakable, it feels like coming home. It's not about perfection or having all the answers. It's about knowing deep in your soul that you are enough. No storm, no criticism, no insecurity can take that from you. That's the victory of self-worth. It doesn't just change how you see yourself, it transforms how you live. Living whole means showing up for yourself in every moment. It means honoring your emotions, even when they're difficult, and treating yourself with the same kindness you'd offer a dear friend. It's about no longer waiting for external validation to feel complete. Instead, you wake up each day knowing your worth isn't something to earn, it's something to embrace. But this victory isn't just for you. When you live in the fullness of self-worth, you inspire others to do the same. Your courage to love yourself gives them permission to step into their own power. You become a living example of what's possible when we let go of doubt and choose to believe in our inherent value. Living whole also means embracing your imperfections. You're not meant to be flawless, you're meant to be real. The cracks in your story are where your light shines through the brightest. Every setback, every scar, every moment of doubt, they've all brought you here. And here is a beautiful place to be. There's a freedom in unshakable self-worth. You no longer feel the need to compete or compare. You're not chasing someone else's definition of success because you're too busy living your own truth. That's where real peace lives, not in the absence of challenges, but in the presence of self-love that carries you through them. It's a life grounded in unshakable self-worth, where you radiate strength, inspire others, and walk with the quiet confidence of someone who truly knows their value. This is the power of self-love fully realized, and it's a gift meant to be shared with the world. As we wrap up this journey together, I want you to carry this truth with you. Self-love is not just a gift you give yourself. It's the key to unlocking your fullest potential. When you nurture your worth, you ignite a light that can't be dimmed. Let that light guide you, strengthen you, and inspire those around you. Remember, you are worthy just as you are, and nothing can take that away. If this message spoke to your heart, I invite you to take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the channel. By doing so, you'll not only stay connected to more inspiring messages like this, but you'll also join a community of people committed to growth, resilience, and unstoppable self-worth. Your support means everything, and it helps us reach even more hearts with this powerful message. Thank you for spending this time with me. Whether it's morning, evening, or the quiet hours of the night, know that you are deeply valued. Keep shining, keep loving yourself, and keep walking your path with courage and grace. Until next time, take care of yourself and remember, you are enough.